Welcome back to Ralph's Sorta True Stories. You know, in a lot of these small cowboy towns, the movie houses have all closed down. But occasionally one town will maintain its movie hall, and then people will come from miles around because it's the only movie house around, particularly on a Friday or Saturday night. And this one movie house was still pretty old-fashioned. They just had one screen. They still had ushers. They had those little pin lights where they'd show you, you know, to your seat. And this young lady was working at one of them as an usher, and as she's coming down, she sees this one cowboy, and he's laid spread out across 6 seats. And she taps him on the boot. She says, "Sir, you're going to have to get up here in a minute because it's Friday night, and we're going to have a full house. I'm going to need these seats." Cowboy doesn't say anything to her. Next time she comes, she kind of shakes his boot, rattles his leg, and says, "Sir, I need these seats like right now. You're going to have to get up." Well, he still doesn't say anything. Well, so she goes down, she calls her cousin, who's a deputy sheriff. And he comes in here, and he's got one of the mag light flashlights that got about, 4 D-cell batteries in it. He turns on, he shines it right in that cowboy's face, says, "Cowboy, what's your name?" He said, "Larry." He says, "Larry, where are you from?" He said, "The balcony." So that's why the guy's spread out there on the seats. He's a little too adventuresome of a cowboy. Fell out the balcony. Now, Chicken Bob, he was one of my favorite characters. And the reason we called him Chicken Bob is he had this Rhode Island red rooster that rode on his shoulder everywhere he went. Now, Bob could be out fixing fences, repairing barbed wire, and old George was right there. Chicken Bob decides to go to the movie theater, and of course he walks up to buy his ticket, and that rooster's sitting there. The kid that's selling the tickets, he says, "What's with the chicken on your shoulder?" He says, "I'll have you know that is not just any chicken. That's a Champagne Rhode Island red rooster, and his name's George." He says, "Well, sir, you're going to have to take him back to your truck and leave him in there if you want to come into the movies. We don't allow no chickens in the movie house." Bob takes the chicken, he goes back around the corner, and he always wore these big old coveralls. So instead of putting George in the truck, he slides him down inside of his coveralls, and he goes back into the movie, and he sits down, and he happened to sit down there, and 2 older ladies came and sat down next to him. One of them says, Betty. "What is it, Mildred?" "Betty, that gentleman next to me, I think he has his, what would we call it, male member out of his pants." And Betty says, "Well, Mildred, as old as we are and as many as we've seen throughout our life, just ignore it." He says, "Well, I'm trying to ignore it, but this one's eating my popcorn." So old George got himself a little bit of popcorn. Well, toodaloo, buckaroos, and thanks for watching Ralph's Sorta True Stories. Now, before you go, down there at the bottom below the screen, there's a little place with a thumbs up. I need you to hit that thing and then move over to the right. They got a thing called subscribe. Click on that, and next to that there's a little bell. Hit that bell, and that way you'll get a notification whenever we put up some new videos. And again, I want to thank you for watching Ralph's Sorta True Stories.